Good morning. Happy Easter. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Panama City. I'm RHoldaway, licensed Unity teacher and spiritual leader. Welcome to all of you on this beautiful, beautiful Easter morning. I started to cancel service today or just have service outside, just walking around in my yard and neighborhood and looking at all the flowers and the temperature. You wouldn't have the sensation of the temperature. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning. How are you, Ron?
Good. So we're glad to see all of you on this Easter Sunday morning. It's absolutely beautiful. So we'll get started today. The Christ candle is lit, and we all know that the Christ, which is appropriate today, but we light that every Sunday to represent the Christ light that's within each one of us. And we'll obviously talk more about that as we get into the service. The topic of the service today is Easter. It's the living, risen Christ within you and me and within each one of us. That's what Easter is to us. So we'll, like I say, we'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. Let me get the slideshow up here, and we'll get started with some music. And let me find it here. So it's your time to rise. Easter, April the 4th, 2021 at Unity Spiritual Center. Your time to rise. I think this says it all for us. So the song this morning is a new song that we haven't heard before, and it's called "Love Is Alive" by Richard Medici and Bob Thurman. He's the co-writer with Richard. So enjoy this music. It's so appropriate. I couldn't believe I found this because it's so appropriate for today. At least it was for me. So I think it'll speak to you as we get into this and play this song. Hold on just a minute. I think I have a technical glitch here. Something didn't work there. Hold on, I have to get to the song. It didn't come up. Isn't that amazing? I would say talk amongst yourself, but you're muted, so you can't. You're seeing way too much technical stuff here. Sorry about that. Here we go. One more time, now we'll start it. this is not going to work this way. So I'm going to play the song for you and not to play the words. So, because it's not cooperating. It's a pilot error, as it usually is. So I'll just go back. I'll play the song again. I'll start it up again, and we'll catch the word.
Rise up this morning, rise up and say, love is alive in my heart, in my life today. I can feel it, spirits in this place. I can see it shining on each face. Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive in our hearts, in our lives today. Here for each other, the way it's meant to be. Sisters and brothers, one great family. Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive everywhere in the world today. Rise up this morning. Rise up and say, love is alive in my heart, in my life, everywhere in the world, every face in this place. Love is alive. Hell yeah.
So we know that is the truth. Love is alive for each one of us today. So, so again, happy Easter. Happy Easter. Let's open with prayer. So if you would, just close your outer eyes if that's comfortable for you. Just close your eyes for a minute and open your inner eyes to this consciousness that dwells, this consciousness that opens you to an awareness of this love that is alive today, fully alive. For we know that that is the essence, the true definition of what we call God, the universe, breath, Brahma, whatever we call it, the true essence, the true foundation of this presence is love. So love is alive in every face and all throughout the world. Love is alive today. So as we celebrate this time, this tradition, the traditions of history, a little bit of the history, but mostly we celebrate this awareness in us that love is alive in us today as this living, risen Christ consciousness that lives and moves and has being in us. So we thank you for this presence. We thank you for your presence with us today. May God richly bless you. May you live life fully and love wastefully in all that you say and do. And so it is. Amen. So Unity Spiritual Center of Panama City, we're open to accepting all faiths and encourage people of all families and faith, individuals, people of all belief systems to join us in celebrating their own divinity within themselves. We do this every Sunday, and we're celebrating that even more today because of Easter. And we know that the Unity's 5 principles embrace this concept of this divinity that lives and moves and has being in us. And we affirm this through our 5 principles. I encourage you to, you can look at this more. You know, we have that in our sanctuary, wherever we meet, whenever we meet, we have these posted because it is the core principle of what we believe. So I invite you to join with that and experience what these 5 principles mean. These are not platitudes. They're not dogmas, creeds. It's a philosophy of kind of a way of life. We continue to celebrate and honor and worship with the Association for Global New Thought in what can we do, what can I do to promote peace in the world. The AGNT, this is the season for nonviolence that they promote and that we work with. So I invite you to reach out. We talk about these we put them in their MailChimp and on the website, and also on at meditation on Thursdays. We read these affirmations. So join us for that if you're interested. Standard events that we have going on this week. Tuesday is A Course in Miracles facilitation with Rose Flora. And 9 o'clock is Coffee and Chat, where we just talk about the current events or whatever's on your mind. And then Thursday is meditation, where we'll pray and check in with each other and see how we're doing spiritually, physically, and emotionally, just to check in and be one in this community. We started a class this past week, April 1st, last Thursday, with Becky Fuller facilitating a great session on Belly Fingers by Annie Kagan. That class is ongoing, 6 to 7:30 on Thursday nights. There's 4 more classes, and you can go on the website or look in the MailChimp and see how to catch up on the reading. So you're welcome to join anytime. If you'll go on the line there and look, you can get the Zoom link and join us for that on Thursday night, 6 to 7:30 p.m. It's a fantastic discussion. It's really an interesting discussion. So I'm sure you would enjoy it if you got time to join us and feel led to join us. Next Sunday after service is the community chat. We'll have a chance for you to ask questions. You'll get an update from the board. And just to be present, one of the biggest things, obviously, is, and it keeps changing, is the when are we going to open back in person? So we're looking at that. We may even have some answers for you next week. We've got a webinar coming up, kind of a roundtable discussion from UWM, where we're going to participate in that. Let's see, that's on the 12th, so that's Monday week. We're going to participate in that because the more and more Unity churches, New Thought churches, are starting to consider opening. There's still a lot of Unity churches like us that are still closed, but we'll talk about all that on next week after service. Bring your questions. Normally we would, if we were meeting in person, we would say bring a covered dish. We'll do that soon. We'll do that real soon. So the Women of Unity, I'm so grateful for you guys. So I think, who was it? I guess it was Kathy mentioning that they saw Chris and Becky in an article in the newspaper. Women of Unity continue to do a great job with outreach for our community. And here's Becky and Chris presenting a check to the family services. This was a week ago, I think. So, but I can tell from Becky's eyes and Chris's eyes that they're all smiling behind the mask. So thank you, Becky and Chris, and all the Women of Unity for doing what you do for us. It's humbling to think about what all you do. And Chris, Becky was saying right before we started service on the 17th of April, that's Saturday, they're going to have their monthly meeting outside at the temple outside. So check your email and check the website, check your email distribution in the coming weeks, and we'll have all that announcement, and on Facebook, of course, too. April the 17th for Women of Unity outside at the temple. So thank you very much for your giving, your continued giving. I'm so grateful the way this community has continued to support us, support you, support ourselves, and thank you for giving from the bottom of our hearts. The board, we look at this and we're just so grateful. I look at it just so grateful for all you're doing. So if you wish to donate, you can donate in a couple different ways. You can go to the website and click on the donate button, unityofpanamacity.org, and click donate. You can mail us a check, P.O. Box 16046, Panama City, Florida. So feel free to give. What I say is go into consciousness, go into meditation, and give what you're led to give. That's what we are all about. You give. The giving comes from us to bless ourselves, and then we bless others as we give. So if you would take your hands, let's put them together and say our offering, blessing for our offerings. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. So if you're in the need of prayer, let us pray with you. Please submit your prayer request to us. I've asked Becky, because she's accepted the responsibility, or she's been doing the responsibility for all of us as a prayer angel. She's receiving, she talks to a lot of you, so I've asked Becky so we can officially designate her as our prayer angel, and she's agreed to do that. So you can help Becky and I by sending us your prayers. We'll pray over them together, and then we'll send them to Unity, Silent Unity, where they're held in prayer for 30 days. Or you can go directly to Silent Unity in multiple different ways. You can call them, you can email them. There's a app on your phone. But so it's so affirmative to get prayer like we pray, like Unity and New Thought prays with affirmative prayer. So please take advantage of that and let it rest your soul and bring peace. So now after all that, we'll take a breath and begin to still our hearts and minds as we get into the spiritual aspect of our service. And so the first thing we're going to do is Becky is going to has agreed to read our daily word for the day. Becky.
Thank you, Ron. Good morning and happy Easter, everybody. The affirmation is: the eternal light of Easter morning lifts my spirits to new heights. I am a spiritual being engaged in a human experience. As such, my individual spirit is resurrected when I use faith and forgiveness to dissolve negative energies and attitudes that have been slowing me on my spiritual path. I am the light, and the kingdom of God is within. Recognizing this, I dissolve thoughts and consciousness that would deny my worthiness for personal resurrection. I am a whole and perfect expression of infinite spirit, here in human form to create, choice by choice, the new dimension of consciousness that Jesus demonstrates through his Easter manifestation. As it is for me, so it is for the world. I affirm that the energy of resurrection is lifting all people to new dimensions of love, appreciating deeply the true unity of all life. Please affirm with me our affirmation. The eternal light of Easter morning lifts my spirit to new heights. Again, the eternal light of Easter morning lifts my spirit to new heights.
Thank you, Becky. And now as we begin to go into meditation, we're listening to a song by Daniel Nahmod, When I Pray. So I invite you to get still, close your outer eyes if that's comfortable, and listen to the words of Daniel Nahmod.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
So now continue to rest comfortably in your seat. If you haven't already done so, I invite you to again to close your outer eyes. And it gives us a chance to open our inner eyes to this consciousness, this awareness, that the deeper we can go, the deeper we go into our God. So we begin to focus on our breath for just a few minutes to go to this place this intuitive place where you know where it is inside you. Can't read it in a book, can't find it from instructions or watching videos. It's an intuitive knowing. You know where it is. Go deeper into that place and rest. Take a deep breath and feel your body rise up. And then as you exhale, just fully relax into this place where God lives and moves and has being in you. And yes, as Daniel Nahmod's son, go deeper into your God. This place where you know that God and you are one. There is only one presence and one power. God, the good, omnipotent, and that power and presence is in you, as you, and works through you. Another deep breath in. Relax your body fully. Rest in this silence. Rest in this peaceful silence. Peace, be still, and know that I am God. In the silence. Now take a deep breath in and exhale and fully relax and feel that warmth and that serenity from being in this place for just a few moments. Another deep breath in and begin to return your attention to this time and place, knowing that we can return here for longer periods of time, for any time, shorter periods of time, just by breathing into this place. Breathe in and then exhale. And when you're comfortable, you can open your eyes, begin to move your body, and be fully present right here, right now. It's always a very peaceful way of starting a talk to me, to meditate and just let that energy, that peace flow from within. You know, how do you catch a rabbit? How do you catch a unique rabbit? You sneak up on it. And you know, how do you catch a tame rabbit? You tame away. So Easter is all about, for my kids, my great grandkids, is about Easter eggs and Easter bunny and all that. So it's funny that we we're so, we're so in our Western society, we're so focused on this tradition of the Easter Bunny and Easter, and it's real similar to Christmas and the same thing. But so, but seriously, so Jesus's seventh living word, surrender. Wow, really? Surrender? Is that what we're here about? We were here talking about the living Christ, risen Christ within, and yet the author of our booklet, Feast and Renewal, that we've been studying about for Lent, talks about surrender as being Jesus's last living word. And the reason is that surrender in this case is also resurrection. Surrender is Jesus's resurrection, and it's also ours. Surrender is not popular in terms of the everyday life or what you would call the outside world. Surrender, though, for us, with all its support and guidance, the faith and the journey and the love that we know that we have within us, it's part of our journey of transformation. Surrender is the return to God. It's the return to our greatness that we all too often forget because of the pressures of living in the outside world. Surrender is not a one-time deal. It's not a once and done thing. If only it was, it would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? We have to live in this surrender. We live in this surrender. Surrender is a process that is infinite. Nothing could be more evident than those of you involved in the 12-step program. We know that we surrender to win. It sounds like an oxymoron, but we know that that's how we gain our spiritual serenity and physical recovery, is by surrendering to the God within ourselves. God, at the time when those of us in 12-step, we know that we surrender to that God that we know that we find inside of us. And it's really not just a recovery from addiction. The 12-step program is really a spiritual program, and it really parallels the teachings of Jesus so prophetically. Father Richard Rohr, in his book, Breathing Underwater, Spirituality in the 12 Steps, looks at, quote, trapped individuals, what you would call addicts and alcoholics and other people trapped by their addictions. He looks at that, but he also points out similar parallels in institutions and cultures and even nations. It's all about spiritual transformation, surrendering to that knowing, to that peace, that love that we've been talking about all service today, surrendering to that peace that we know that it's in. And surrender has definitely been an important aspect of my spiritual journey, first with the 12-step groups and then in unity. Surrender is a beautiful, peaceful when we remember what we are surrendering to. And again, what we've talked about this morning mostly is love. We're surrendering to that love that dwells within us. So today, Easter happens in you. So the emphasis in unity and new thought is about the shift that happens in you. Embracing that which is about a higher nature, a higher consciousness. And we know that all transformations first start within. As we look at Easter, we align with historical events. We all know about the stories and the narratives and the myths and the details. But we align with those that took place and what they mean to us today. And it is also important for us to develop a deeper understanding into the spiritual matters of what these internal teachings of the resurrection mean. And so we look at these teachings and the historical matter from people of Jesus's time, not to gain the details, but to learn about the experiences, not only the experiences that happened 2,000 years ago, but what those experiences are happening in us. The Apostle Paul said, it's recorded that said, the secret which God has hidden for generations, Christ in you, your hope of glory. Now, we've got a lot of new teachings about this term Christ. A lot of people have, have issues with the language because it comes from the traditional Christianity, and it was sometimes, my life is an example. So, but this Christ that Paul is talking about is this universal Christ, this energy, this life force, this presence, this love. So Easter is about the resurrection of that Christ spirit within you. Or we could say that the Christ, we could say another word is the divinity, which is what is in our 5 principles. It is a secret which has been hidden for generations. The teachings of Charles Fillmore and Eric Butterworth and other New Thought teachers confirm this idea. The celebration of not just the individual resurrection of Jesus, but the universal resurrecting of our spirits and of all people that dwell, the spirit that dwells in all of us. So there was a Unity minister telling this story about a mother that was in line at a greeting at the end of a church service, and her 7 or 8 year old son came through with her. And the boy said to the pastor, said, I want to tell you something that happened to me. Ever since I was little, and this is a 7 or 8 year old little boy, he wanted a bunny rabbit and to be free to hop and run, hop and be furry and run all over the place. So he said, I wished and wished and wished, and finally gave up because I saw I was never going to get a bunny rabbit. So last week a miracle happened. Really, said the pastor. Not with the boy with eyes of wonder opened his eyes and said, he went on after all this time. God gave him a dream, and he felt like in the dream felt like what it was to be furry and to run free and to hop and to play. And the minister said, that's wonderful. That's not all my dream showed me. God showed me how wonderful it is to be a bunny rabbit. And when the little boy woke up, he says he realized that the feelings it takes to be a bunny rabbit are already inside of me. And then he realized the thought here is that I realized that I've been carrying what I wanted within me all along. We know how to do it. We know how to love ourselves. We know how to forgive ourselves. All of this is inside of us already, just as the little boy experienced the bunny rabbit. Powerful, powerful. It has been with us all along, and this is true of you and me. We have been drawn and pulled in so many directions that we have lost the recognition of this universal Christ, this divine within us. The Hindu tradition calls this the light you are seeking is your own lantern. The light you are seeking is your own lantern. Some historians, there's a claim that the Easter term Easter Esther is a pagan goddess of fertility and spring. And according to the tale, Esther found a bird freezing to death and turned it into a rabbit to keep it warm. But the rabbit still laid eggs like a bird. In the tale, the bunny decorated her eggs to show her appreciation for what Esther did. So it's, how these transitions come to us from a pagan holiday into a Christian tradition. Tradition is interesting. Doesn't really have a lot to do with what we're trying to do inside, and not acknowledge this, except that we don't get caught in the traps of what's in the outside. The central message in a relatively new book, 2018, Resurrecting Easter by John Dominic Crossan and Sarah Sexton Crossan, they do a pictorial study art from the Eastern Christian Church. And what they report in there is that the Western Christianity came to see resurrection as a resurrection of one person, Jesus of Nazareth. But in the Eastern tradition, they came to see resurrection as universal, not individual. Isn't this what we teach in New Thought and in Unity? In metaphysical Christianity today, we proclaim universal salvation, if you will. I'm putting salvation in my air quotes. Oneness with God, wholeness for humanity, prosperity for all. Universal salvation. And Richard Rohr calls it the universal Christ. Reverend Mark Hicks, you may know him for Truth Unity, says, I do not believe for a moment that God has created the situation we find ourselves in today. You know, that's with all the angst and the troubles and the polarization, if you will, and all this that we find. But he said, but I am quite confident that we are being called by God, by the universe, to transform what we are experiencing today into greater good. Where would that transformative work occur? It will occur and start in each one of us. And Kelly Isola summarized in a blog she called Different Accounts of the Resurrection Story. She compares all four of the Gospels, the stories of the resurrection, and like much of the narratives and stories and myths in the Bible and in the Gospels, the details are difficult to follow because the details change between authors. But guess what? The details of that, the details get hung up in the me included, get hung up in the details too much. They don't matter. What we gain from these narrative stories are the experiences of the people living in the times of Jesus. And by the way, we know there's some historical evidence because of the writings of Josephus, who was a historian at the time, who affirms that Jesus was a prophet at the time, or a rabbi in the city of Jerusalem at the time, that's reflected in the Gospels. So these experiences, what we gained from these beautiful, beautiful narratives, are the spiritual experience of the people and what it brings to us. Charles Fillmore said, in metaphysical Christianity, the fundamental spiritual work of all of us is our mind. Let me repeat that. Metaphysical Christianity, the fundamental spiritual work to which we are called is our mind. As one of our 5 principles, as we think, so we are. Thoughts held in mind, and we clarify that today. Thoughts and feelings held in mind produced after their kind. So we have to change our minds first. So, for example, Jesus said, I am the light of the world, and you are the light of the world. The big thing is not to forget it. Don't hide it under a basket. I am the light of the world, and you are the light of the world. Each one of us, you, me, we're the light of the world. And don't forget it. Don't hide it under a basket. In John, Jesus talks about departing from this world. He is leaving, but there will be a counselor who will come, the Spirit of truth. It will dwell with you and be in you. So this inner knowing that we know is here is exactly the message. That, the details to me anymore don't matter. Yet we know that that's the experience. In that day, you will know that I am in my Father and me. You are in me and I am in you, Jesus said. There will be a day, a moment when you will know and recognize that I and my Father are one and are in. Let me see if I'm muted. Got him. So Jesus was very audacious during his time, or at least in what we learned from his ministry. Audacious means to be daring and bold and fearless. Jesus was willing to think outside the box, not confined to the boundaries of the day, acted in disregard of some laws, the law of the Sabbath, the laws of nature, walked on water, according to the stories, the narrative, the myths, whatever you want to call it, pointed out the deadness of certain rituals of the time, not just repetitions. The authorities of the day were the blind leading the blind. Jesus turned over the tables of the money changers. He was not intimidated by Pontius Pilate. All these things point to Jesus's audacity in the narratives, in the stories, in the myths. So Jesus was always pushing the envelope, not afraid of anything, of pain or death or people's opinion. So Paul said, again, Apostle Paul said, you have that mind in you that is Christ Jesus, this spirit in you. You already have it in you. Do you have the audacity to believe that you could have the mind and the spirit of this divine within you? Then you are moving to the direction to know that Easter happens in you. Easter is about raising that recognition, raising your consciousness to that living, risen Christ within you, filling that present. Not just the words. It might just be a small deed in you. We have to allow it to grow. Another thing, Jesus said, truly, truly, I say to you, one who believes in me will also do these works that I do, and even greater. Mainstream Christianity, again, this came from a Unity minister I've talked to years ago in Houston. Mainstream Christianity would not want to agree with that, because Jesus seems to be holding us in a place of recognizing this Spirit of God within us. So this minister I was talking to said he was having a discussion with a traditional pastor, and the Unity minister said Jesus was trying to bring us up to some level of equality with him, because he's our teacher and way shower. He knew his divinity, and he was trying to bring us up to his, to know that presence within us. And the Unity minister quoted that verse to him, and the traditional pastor said, yeah, I wish Jesus hadn't said that. We know this to be the truth. We find that place when we meditate. Easter happens in you and me. We all carry this Christ Spirit along with us and within us, and we have all the time. Some have awakened to it, some haven't. Those who have become masters and mystics. We all have the capacity. We should not, in any circumstance, ever sell ourselves short. Our goal should be awakened to that. Richard Rohr, who I quote frequently, says, faith is basically knowing that we are fully accepted. So do you have the audacity to believe that you are resurrected from the darkness of your, quote, tombs of ignorance and limitation, from your weaknesses, hopelessness, and despair, whatever you face? In order to have audacity, you have to be able to step into your bigger self, your Christ self, your sacred self, and know that it lives in you. Robert Browning's poem, I think I'll get the name of this right, Celsius, says, I'm not going to read the poem, I've got it here, but I'm not going to read it in interest of time. He speaks to the imprisoned splendor within us. It is the idea that we have splendor of God in us right now, but it is often imprisoned in the limitations of the way we think about ourselves. Faith is knowing that you are fully accepted. We all have this Christ Spirit, this divinity within us that wants to emerge today and every day. Every day is the day we rise up. So I'm not going to read that poem, but I want to show you, I want to share a short video. We'll be able to end. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get this out of sequence here. Doing this a little different. Oh. Oh, wrong slide. Wrong slideshow. Sorry, we'll get that one in a minute. I knew I was going to have trouble with this, getting this one to come up the right way. So hold on just a minute. my slide won't advance for some reason. Let me try it one more time. Well, it's not going to cooperate. I'll just have to tell you about it. I don't know what's going on. So that's, I was thinking this morning how many technical difficulties I've seen on news programs and all that with doing this Zoom stuff. But for some reason, that's just not playing, and it played right before the service today. But this is the you may have seen this. This is an autistic, a story about an autistic kid, and he was on the he was the manager on the basketball team, and at the last game of the season, the coach put him in, and he scored 18 points, I think, 6 3-pointers, and the crowd was just going crazy. I mean, they just went nuts and elevated him on his shoulder and on their shoulders. And it was just an incredible experience. And it's a teaching for us. I'll find this at some point. We'll share it. If you haven't seen it, it's only 2 minutes. But he is us and we are him, because what we see in that moment is that imprisoned splendor that is in all of us. He had a moment in time where something that he carried along with him was expressed in that moment. And he'll never forget it. We'll never forget it. And it'll be a touchstone for him and for us as we watch this story about him. A time to remember when it was always in him, forever and always. So now, my friends and family of Unity Spiritual Panama City, as you surrender to that still small voice within you, you shall see love that has no conditions. You shall see the joy that has no bounds. You shall see peace that is beyond understanding. You shall see the kingdom of heaven in you. This is the will. This is the presence of God in you. The living, risen Christ is within you and me and the world. Namaste. Okay, everybody can unmute yourself. We're going to do the birthday. Who has a birthday in April? Anybody have a birthday in April? Jerry, you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry has a birthday in April. All right.
Becky, who else do we
Jerry,
have?
when is your birthday?
He's muted.
You can unmute, Jerry. Must be something. There you go.
There he is.
When's your birthday?
Yep. 14th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Paul and Michael's are also both on the 14th.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other birthdays?
I've got a sobriety date.
That's good. That's a good
That's
birthday.
Does that count?
Yeah.
my second life.
Yeah.
It's on April 23rd. I'll have 28 years.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
All right.
Yay.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Claudia. So you definitely know what it is to mean surrender to win, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was a good message. It reminds me to let our light shine.
Absolutely. Yeah, that light that's in it always has in us. Bob, you want to sing happy birthday to everybody that's got a birthday in April?
Sure. So if you have a birthday this month, or you know someone that has a birthday in April, or family member, a friend or family member, and let's remember our pets. I know some of you have pets, and they may have birthdays in April too. So we're going to sing happy birthday to them. Now, Ron, is there a slide just before this one?
Oh, yes. I got the second.
There we go. All right. We might as well start from the beginning, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
All right. Happy birthday to you. There's no one like you. Uniquely created. I love knowing you. Next slide. I bless you with life and abundance galore. God bless you, my loved one, and have many more.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Happy birthday, everybody.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, so today I've got the prayer for protection up here since we got this up here. So let's just say this together. We're unmuted. We'll try saying it together for a while. We haven't done that for a while, so let's say it together. Here we go. The light of God
surrounds you.
The
The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are, God
is.
and all is well.
All is well.
Yay. Okay, I'm going to end the recordings here.